Hello everybody, this is the Goofs and Fox coming at you with two matches here. These are both going to be 300 cost matches in the OG Acguys, and this is going to be in the semi-new game mode Acguys Only, which uses the series battle game mode from a while back to make it to where we can basically only play Acguys, and well, that's important here because the most recent banner for GBO2 has been 3 Thunderbolt Acguys all released at once. We have the Acguy Thunderbolt, that is a raid type. You have the Acguy Recon type Thunderbolt being a support, and then you have the Firepower type A as a general. In this game mode, obviously, you can use the original Acguy if you did not get any of the Thunderbolt variants. Unfortunately, I was not able to get any of them, which kind of sucks because all of these look really good, and I will get more into this later in this video because I do want to cover not just this game mode, but kind of overall the Acguys as a whole from what I've kind of witnessed. And just for reference, these two matches here, this first one here is going to be on military ports, while the next one is going to be on jungle. So yeah, without further ado, well, what about the game mode itself? Well, we'll say the game mode itself is very fun. It's just a very fun thing to, just have everybody use this one, not one version, but just this one type of suit, You just have a bunch of Acguys waddling around anywhere, and it's a really fun mode. It's a quick match mode, so it's not going to affect your rating in any way. So if you're concerned about anything like that, well, you really don't have to worry about that. But for the most part, I will say it's fun, but it definitely brings up some things concerning the OG Acguy here, and that is just, compared to these other Acguys here, the OG just feels like it has a really just brutal time. Now maybe it's just at its native cost, the Acguy is really good, but again, just surrounded by all these new versions. And even in the matches I've played where I had to face against the new Acguys, these things are they can be actually really strong for what they are. And yeah, it's like the Acguy here, I did mention earlier that one of the new Acguys that released was the Firepower Type A. And this one in particular is important because it is a general, so it already has type advantage against the OG Acguy, which is a raid. But not just that, but just the fire type version in general. Firepower type can just do quite a bit of damage. Especially with the machine gun, it can really just chunk away at enemy mobile suits, really no matter what it is. Kind of reminds me almost like the White Rider's Gatling gun in a way. It kind of reminds me of that, how it's just a pretty solid weapon that can do some good amounts of damage. And being in this suit here, yeah, if you have just a whole bunch of enemy firepower types, yeah, you're gonna really feel it if they start trying to target you. The other ones I would say aren't that bad. The raid version can do some pretty good damage with its melee, of course, as most raids can, but also has a few interesting things with it as well, such as its melee being able to slide. So it kind of makes it you have to be careful when you're predicting when the melee is going to hit. At the same time, too, I've seen them miss their melee, so you also have to maybe be able to take advantage of that as well. So it's kind of a few things with that one. And I'd say the easiest one to deal with, at least in this game mode specifically, has been the supports. Mainly because the OG Acguy is a raid, so it is able to, have type advantage. And once you kind of get it with melee, it's not really that much of a hassle to deal with. Even though the support version does actually come with resist movements, they're still going to take damage either way. So if you just land a few good melee swings in any raid, you should be able to easily deal with them. But for the OG Acguy here at 300, yeah, it definitely just feels lacking. I feel like I'm not really doing that much damage. Even when I go in for melee, the only thing I really feel like I'm able to do the most decent damage against is the support, so I feel like the other Acguys here are just able to really stack on that damage, which means I have to play cautiously as well, being a bigger target. And there might be another thing you may have noticed is that the Thunderbolt Acguys are quite tiny. They are tinier than the regular Acguy by a pretty good amount. Probably it's like a whole head height, honestly. And that just makes them like little tiny gremlins that are just hard to shoot. In melee, you might be able to get them a bit easier, but just trying to get like a lock on them, especially since they just walk so fast. It's a whole lot. These new Acguys, I feel like they're definitely going to be a big part of the 300 meta going forward. I've even seen the firepower type being used at 350. And specifically the firepower type, I think from not owning any of the Thunderbolt Acguys, I feel like the general one is going to be overall the best. I think that's the one that's going to maybe stick the most within the player base. For the other two, I'm not entirely sure. Like, the other two seem like they do have their perks, but at the same time, I don't know. I'm not really too certain when it comes to how long they're going to stick. At least at native, I think they're going to be widely used. If anything, the support for its spotting capabilities, 'cause I think it does have a weapon that lets it spot. So, if I'm not wrong about that one, I know it has some type of, I think, spotlight tool. So that one might stick a bit more just with that ability alone. But yeah, they're definitely going to be up there. At least the general one, I feel like it's going to be up there next to the Gym Command, light armor, and the Zaku desert type dual antenna. So yeah, just some things there with that one. It's interesting though. It's very interesting, kind of seeing them, and they're not impossible to deal with. I don't want to make it sound like they're like overpowered or anything. They're tough, but I think it's going to be one of those things like once, you know, give it a week, people start playing against them more, or people start playing them more. I think there's going to be more ways that people kind of figure out what the best counters are for each one. Again, the support, if you're just able to get like some decent melee swings off, then yeah, you can pretty much deal with it pretty easily. Aside from that, yeah, the other two just kind of seem very standard. The general is just don't get caught in the machine gun fire, because that thing will chunk your health, especially if you're a raid. I can't stress that one enough. If you're a raid, yeah, just be very careful around that particular Thunderbolt Acguy there. So, man, I hope this isn't confusing, because I'm just talking about nothing but Acguys. But, real quick, timeout mission over. I'll see how we did this first match here before I carry on here with any final things I need to say. And even here, you can see the size difference between all the Acguys there, just how small the Thunderbolt ones are. But yeah, top and assist score for this match. First place overall with 6 kills and 2 loss. Not too shabby there. And yeah, this next match here is going to be on jungle. Same cost in the same suit. And yeah, I think overall, it's a fun mode. Let me just try to wrap it up where we are. Fun mode. OG Acguy, I think, can definitely use a few buffs, kind of seeing it here. At least at the higher cost. Because one thing about it is that the Thunderbolt Acguys do have Vulcans. At least I know the raid and the support have them. I don't know if the general has. I don't think it has the arm Vulcan. But the arm Vulcans on the Thunderbolt Acguys are really quick stun weapons compared to the head Vulcans that the Acguy here has. So that's kind of another thing. I hope they maybe buff the Vulcans a little bit on this Acguy. I might get why they wouldn't want to, because at least with this Acguy, you can boost and fire these, because like that's how most head Vulcans tend to work. So maybe that's why they might not try to change it, but at the same time, though, I feel like there's definitely a few things about the OG that can use a few tweaks. Probably nothing too major, because this is a native 200 suit, This is the level 3 version here if you want to use it for this game mode, so definitely don't want to push it to a point where it feels like it might be considered too much. But I feel like just some minor things. Like I said, maybe a better stun accumulation on the Vulcans. Maybe a little bit of a damage boost, at least at the higher cost, I think would be good. And aside from that, like, yeah, just give it some better, like, stunning Vulcans, and that would probably fix a good amount of the problems. I think its melee is already pretty decent. I don't think they need to really do anything there. Because for the most part, if you're, like, attacking supports, like, most raids should be doing, then I think you'll get most of your damage off. I can't really say anything for the other two weapons. I don't know what I would really change about the missile launcher or the mega particle cannon. That probably have to be something I need to look a bit more into. I think the mega particle cannon is fine. I kind of wish the missiles you could at least fire while moving, because that's like another thing. You can't fire any of the arm weapons while moving, but again, that's like you're kind of trading it out for having the Vulcans that you can boost. But I don't know. That's probably something I would change. But yeah, as you can see here, how much damage the General Acguys can absolutely do to me being a raid unit. And as you can see, though, I am still able to do some decent damage there, so not too much of a hassle here. But yeah, I think that is pretty much everything I have to say here while I'm repairing my suit. Just some basic stuff, just talking about the game mode, and just the Acguys as a whole. And I guess for a final summary, yeah, I know I gave it at the beginning, but final summary, game mode's pretty fun. I recommend trying it out just for laughs, because it's a quick match mode. It's not really serious, and I don't think I really had any moments where I felt frustrated playing this game mode. I mean, maybe a little bit if it's like, again, a team that just has a bunch of the General Acguys, because they can just do a lot of damage. It might also not be ideal for, maybe people who don't typically play the Acguy and maybe didn't get the Thunderbolt ones, so that might be another reason to skip it. But otherwise, it's just a pretty fun mode, even if it's like just a one and done type of deal. Pretty fun mode overall. The Acguys, the Thunderbolt Acguys, they all seem like they're going to be pretty good. I expect to see them more in the future if 300 stays in the map rotation. And the OG Acguy itself, yeah, maybe give it a few buffs just to kind of keep it up, because it is also an old suit, so give it a few things to kind of keep it up with, up to date. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say here, so I'm going to let the rest of this match play here, and I'll give my goodbyes for this video. And remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Comment down below what you think about the mode or any of the Acguys that I discussed here. And with that, I will see you all in the next one. Later.
An ally marked an enemy unit. An ally has see you soon. An ally has destroyed an enemy mobile this battle's rewards.